Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM. AM 630. WMAL.
What's the sense of hurting my pride? Well, baby, don't hold out. Baby, it's cold outside.
Trevor and I were actually going to sing that as a duet.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll work on that for next week, maybe. 7:37 in the Morning Majority. Good morning, Trevor Matich.
Good morning, Mary Catherine. Good morning, Brian. And, you know, if we sang that as a duet, it would only work if I lip-synced and you carried the whole thing.
I will do my best, and we'll videotape it.
You could play the tuba or something, right?
I could play the tuba with a drumstick. It would be like a cymbal. Don't ask me to make music out of that.
Were you in a band or anything like that?
Actually, I played trombone in the marching band in high school.
That's fantastic.
I play
Did you really?
I play enough guitar to sound good on the beach for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
After which you'll go, is that all you got?
Hey, if I have enough to drink, I think it sounds great.
Yeah, well, okay, good. Then we have a plan then. We'll ply you with some beverages, and then Mary Catherine and I will be rock stars for a while.
Well, can I tell you that I was so bad in elementary school that they said, you know what, we're just going to give you the triangle, Brian. So I'm dead serious about that. That's what I did in chorus. I was the guy who did the triangle.
But were you on rhythm with the triangle?
Probably not.
Because, you know, there's nothing that'll ruin a 70-piece band more than a triangle at the wrong moment.
Well, Brian Neiman.
That's me.
That's a metaphor for Brian's life.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just glad to find out you're a marching band nerd. I, too, am a marching band nerd.
What instrument?
I played clarinet.
Wasn't it great?
Yeah, and then I was the drum major. I was the head nerd.
You were the one that bent over backwards and put your head almost on the ground and ran out like high-stepping?
I did not do that particular move, but many other great ones. All right, so Redskins-Vikings this weekend. Does the momentum hold?
I think it does. And part of the reason is that the Vikings, right now, if they don't win their next 2 games, they will have their worst season in the entire history of their franchise. Yeesh. They're 2-12 right now, and they're struggling, and especially struggling in the secondary. They haven't had an interception in the last 9 games. So the Redskins always tend to do better when they're playing a team that's lousy. Mm-hmm. How's that for analysis?
Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, they got some bad news yesterday. It was kind of a mixed bag. First of all, bad news was that Matt Barkley decided to stay in college, which really means the deep pool that everybody said there are of quarterbacks just got a little more shallow, I guess. But last night, the Colts won. So I'm just, I love to play these scenarios out. If somehow the Colts wind up winning another game, and I don't know what the tiebreaker is with the Rams. I know right now if the Vikings and the Colts and the Rams all finish with only 2 wins, the Colts still get the number 1 pick. But there's a possibility the Rams could have the first pick.
Yeah, that's possible. And I think if the Rams have the first pick, because they've already taken Sam Bradford with the number 1 pick in the draft, they probably won't take a quarterback. The problem is ahead of the Redskins, you've got the potential for Cleveland, who will take a quarterback. Minnesota, they could hurt their own chances. Now, Minnesota took Christian Ponder in the first round pretty high, I think around 12 or 17,
he was.
something like that, last year. But Ponder is not awesome. He started out pretty well this year, and then he regressed a bit. And Redskins fans will have a chance to see him in this game and see if they think he's a promising rookie. Either way, if Andrew Luck is available to Minnesota must take him and then trade Ponder to somebody else.
Right.
I mean, it would mess up their salary cap a bit, but it would really upgrade the position, in my opinion. So, but you're right, though. Matt Barkley leaving the draft, not entering the draft, is a real problem. Another real problem is that Robert Griffin III, the guy that everybody loves in the area, and I love him too, Baylor's quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner, he's fantastic, but I don't know that he's going to come out in the draft either. He's just a junior. He might want to go back to Baylor. He's talked about a goal of being an Olympic hurdler. Yeah. There's all kinds of things he could do. And so if he doesn't come out, then all of a sudden you lose Barkley and Robert Griffin as possibilities. And all of a sudden now the Redskins probably won't have a quarterback graded as high as their first-round pick. And so everybody assumes they'll take a quarterback with that pick, but if there is not a quarterback with that grade there, and if they don't trade down, then the Redskins must go to a different position, and people will be upset about that, but it would be the right thing to do.
All right.
Now, they then take a quarterback later in the draft, and there are some good possibilities later in the draft.
Well, I heard that I've heard people say that even if the Rams get the number 1 pick, they may deal Bradford because everyone loves Luck so much. And you know how much Mike Shanahan loved Bradford coming out of college 2 years ago. I mean, that's always a possibility. What about the Colts, though? If the Colts do wind up with the number 1 pick, they can't keep Manning and Andrew Luck, right?
Well, sure they can. Sure they can. Manning might pitch a fit about it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the Colts are in a position right now to where it's kind of time to replace him. And if Manning pitches a fit about it, if I'm the Colts, I take Luck anyway, and then just sit Manning in the corner, for goodness sake. Now, the salary cap will be a little bit messed up because they have a lot of money invested right now in Manning. But I think Manning is smart enough to not pull a Brett Favre. Remember when it was time for him to step aside in Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers, who now is having his own Hall of Fame career? Instead of putting on a ball cap and grabbing a clipboard and mentoring his young replacement in a real positive way, which would have made him even more beloved to Green Bay fans. He pitched a fit about it.
Yeah.
He jerked the team around, and then he eventually left. And I don't think Manning wants to be seen that way.
Yeah, but I don't see Manning wanting to not play football either.
Well, you're right. And so Manning would be in a position where he's got 2 bad choices, and he'll have to make it. But for the Colts, Manning doesn't have much leverage over them. And truthfully, they cannot afford to indulge Manning's ego if, I'm not saying he will, but if Manning decides to be a problem here. If they have Luck there, in my opinion, they must take him. Look at what they have done with one of the 2 or 3 elite quarterbacks in the league over the last decade. Yeah. And without him, look at what's happened to him. And we don't know that Luck will pan out that way, but from this angle, it looks like he might.
All right, but here's what I'm getting at. I mean, if you're Peyton Manning, then you might just say to them, listen, it's been a great ride. I loved it here. We've done a lot of great things. You obviously are going to move on. You're concerned about my health. I still want to play. I still feel like I have some great years ahead of me. And quite frankly, even if I stay here, this team isn't that great. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to win another Super Bowl. So I'd like to go somewhere else.
Well, then, if I'm the Colts, then I say, okay, Peyton, we love you, and we will either not indulge that and make him stay, or indulge him and trade him and start the new era now. Because a couple of years from now, Peyton won't be there anyhow. And so if I'm the Colts, I'm fine with that. It's not the best option. The best option is to keep him there to mentor Luck. But if that won't work out, sure, maybe they can trade him to the Redskins for 7 first-round draft choices, the entire defense, and the Redskins band.
Yeah.
Can that city break up with Peyton amicably? If you moved on, when you're so dependent on a personality like that, how would that go?
No, Peyton Manning is way too media savvy to blow it like Brett Favre did.
Yeah.
He would absolutely orchestrate it so that it would seem like the Colts were the villains here, and people would be mad at the Colts, not Peyton. And then it would depend on whether or not should they get Andrew Luck. He put on a performance early in his career like Aaron Rodgers did when he took over for Brett Favre. And if he did, then people won't forget Peyton Manning, but they'll be okay with moving on, just like Green Bay fans are perfectly fine with moving on with Aaron Rodgers. And so there's a lot up in the air right now for the Colts, but the decisions for the franchise of the Colts are all positive for them, with the exception of a potential PR problem for a short time.
All right, Trev, great to talk to you as always. Have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas to you.
You guys too. Clarinets rule.
Woo!
We're gonna have, Wilson plays guitar as well, so we're gonna have to have a concert in here sometime
I could
soon.
do a little.
2 guitars, a clarinet, and a triangle.
That's right. Don't forget it. I'll talk to you soon.
Merry Christmas.